Hey everyone! If your medical device registration in Hong Kong is taking much longer than expected, there's a very high chance the problem is not your product. It's your documentation. And honestly, this is one of the biggest frustrations manufacturers face during Medical Device Administrative Control System, or MDACS, submissions. We've seen companies spend months preparing files, thousands on testing, large consulting budgets, only to receive endless clarification requests. And most of the time, the root cause is incomplete documents, inconsistent information, expired reports, poor technical structure, weak labeling alignment. The painful part? Many of these delays are completely avoidable. Some manufacturers believe, we already have CE marking, we already have FDA clearance, our technical file is already approved globally. But Hong Kong review still identifies documentation gaps. And when documentation problems appear, companies face delayed market entry, resubmission work, additional testing costs, distributor pressure, missed hospital tenders, lost revenue opportunities. So in this complete guide, we'll cover everything. How MDACS documentation review works, step-by-step documentation process, most common documentation errors, real-world examples, timeline impact, cost impact, required documents checklist, hidden mistakes companies ignore, how to avoid authority queries, smart documentation strategies, how experts reduce approval delays. And trust me, if you're planning Hong Kong registration in 2026, this video could save you months of unnecessary delays, huge rework costs, and serious regulatory frustration. Let's begin. Part 1. Why documentation is the biggest MDACS challenge. Understanding MDACS review reality. Many companies think medical device approval is mainly about product quality, device performance, safety testing. But in practice, a huge part of approval success depends on documentation quality. Because regulators do not physically inspect every product during review. Instead, they evaluate technical evidence, risk justification, clinical support, testing reports, labeling consistency, manufacturing controls, through documentation. What authorities look for? Authorities evaluate whether documents are complete, consistent, scientifically justified, properly organized, technically aligned. Biggest industry misunderstanding. Companies assume, if we have documents, we are ready. But documentation quality matters more than document quantity. Real example. A manufacturer submitted CE certificate, test reports, technical file, but intended use statements differed across documents. Result? Clarification requests, submission delays. Key insight. One inconsistency can delay an entire MDACS application. Part 2. Step-by-step documentation process. Step 1. Device classification document review. Everything starts here. Why it matters. Classification determines risk level, evidence requirements, testing depth, documentation complexity. Common error. Using incorrect classification rationale. Example. Software device classified incorrectly as low risk. Result? Additional evidence requested later. Best practice. Perform classification verification before submission. Step 2. Technical file preparation. Technical file usually includes device description, intended use, design information, risk management, clinical evidence, test reports, manufacturing details.
Common error: documents copied from multiple regions without alignment. Example: technical file says reusable device. IFU says single-use device. Result: serious inconsistency issue. Best practice: perform line-by-line consistency review. Step 3. Test report validation. Common reports include EMC, electrical safety, biocompatibility, sterility, software validation. Common error: expired or incomplete reports. Example: biocompatibility report outdated by several years. Result: retesting requested. Best practice: review report validity before submission planning. Step 4. Labeling and IFU review. This is one of the most underestimated areas. Includes device label, packaging instructions for use, warning statements, symbols. Common error: marketing claims unsupported by evidence. Example: label claims clinically proven superior performance. No supporting comparative data exists. Result: label revision required. Best practice: ensure every claim is scientifically supported. Step 5. Final document consistency review. Before submission, all files should align perfectly. Common error: different versions of documents submitted together. Example: old IFU version submitted accidentally. Result: clarification request issued. Best practice: conduct final document control review. Part 3. Most common documentation errors. Error 1. Inconsistent intended use. This is one of the most common problems. Where it happens: technical file, IFU, label, marketing materials. Example: IFU states professional healthcare use. Website states home use. Result: authority confusion. Cost impact: delayed review, label revision, additional clarifications. Fix: standardize intended use language everywhere. Error 2. Expired test reports. Commonly affected areas: EMC, sterility, biocompatibility. Example: sterility validation outdated. Result: retesting required. Cost impact: new laboratory costs, timeline extension. Fix: review validity dates early. Error 3. Poor risk management file. Common problems: missing hazards, weak mitigation measures, incomplete analysis. Example: cybersecurity risks ignored for software device. Result: additional justification requested. Cost impact: documentation rework, expert consulting fees. Fix: perform detailed ISO 1491 aligned risk analysis. Error 4. Weak clinical evidence. Common problems: unsupported performance claims, limited literature support, missing equivalence justification. Example: manufacturer claimed superior performance without comparative data. Result: clinical clarification required. Cost impact: additional clinical review, delayed approval. Fix: build strong evidence strategy early. Error 5. Labeling inconsistencies. Common issues: missing warnings, wrong symbols, translation inconsistencies. Example: packaging lacked required warning statement. Result: packaging revision required. Cost impact: reprinting costs, packaging delays. Fix: conduct full labeling compliance review. Error 6. Missing signatures and authorization documents. This sounds simple, but it causes huge delays. Example: authorization letter unsigned. Result: administrative clarification request. Cost impact: avoidable delays, internal coordination costs. Fix: use pre-submission checklist verification. Error 7: poor document version control. Common problem: different departments submit different document versions. Example: old IFU version uploaded accidentally. Result: inconsistency issues. Cost impact: additional review cycles, submission confusion. Fix: implement strict document control system. Part 4: timeline impact of documentation errors. Typical MDACS timelines: 3 to 6 months for smoother cases, 6 to 12 months for moderate complexity. With documentation problems, add 2 to 8 months additional delay possible. Biggest timeline killers: clarification requests, retesting, label revisions, missing evidence. Key insight: most approval delays happen before authorities even finish technical review. Part 5: cost impact of documentation errors. Direct costs: retesting fees, consulting costs, translation costs, resubmission work. Hidden costs: delayed sales, missed tenders, distributor frustration, lost revenue opportunity. Example: one labeling inconsistency delayed launch by several months. Result: commercial losses exceeded regulatory costs. Key lesson: documentation mistakes are often far more expensive than companies expect. Part 6: how to reduce MDACS documentation delays. Smart strategy: start gap analysis early. Review all intended use language. Validate report expiry dates. Align labeling with technical file. Perform document consistency review. Use strong version control. Prepare clarification response plans. One powerful sentence: the fastest approvals happen when documentation is prepared like a regulatory strategy, not just paperwork. Planning medical device registration in Hong Kong? Don't let documentation gaps, inconsistent files, expired reports, weak labeling, poor preparation delay your MDACS approval. Why choose OMC Medical? Hong Kong MDAC expertise, technical documentation review, gap analysis support, labeling and IFU compliance, faster approval strategies, end-to-end regulatory guidance. Whether you're preparing a new submission or fixing documentation issues, talk to OMC Medical experts today. If this video helped you understand the biggest documentation errors that delay MDAC's approval, follow OMC Medical for more medical device regulatory insights, global compliance strategies, and market access guidance. See you in the next video!